What's up, y'all? It's John Joffrey with Revent Builds in Austin, Texas. So the question at hand for this video is, so you want to be a builder? I get asked all the time from friends, family, and fans on how they can get started in a build career, be around construction, and really just make their living through real estate and construction. If you follow the tips in this video, you can get started just like I did. So I am a first generation business owner. That means I started this company from scratch and got it off the ground. I'm also a first generation builder. No one in my family has construction experience. I did not go to school for construction. And honestly, I don't bring any of this up to brag. My point is, you can do this. I promise you. It's just about taking the right steps, putting some safeguards in place, and really just making a leap. Okay, so now let's just assume that you have a very basic level of construction, very surface level, you have a high interest in construction, and you're definitely heavily leaning toward wanting to be a builder, make a career change, expand your career. Okay, your first step, which is an easy one, is join local builder and developer groups. There are national organizations like National Association of the Remodeling Industry, which is NARI, and the Home Builders Association, HBA. They have local chapters in every state and largely every big city. You pay a fee, you join, you will get access to tons of trades, referrals, a network of knowledgeable people. This is vital because you want to go to all these meetings, soak up all the knowledge you can, meet every other professional in this space that's part of that group. Joining those groups just because you're interested and you want to learn is vital. What I did early in my career is I joined the groups. I volunteered to go to the city meetings with some of our group officials and just take notes. I was basically like a stenographer. So I provided some value even though I didn't have tons of builder experience. Okay, during all of this networking, what you want to do is start gearing up your own personal company. Create an LLC. Create an LLC. Create an LLC. I don't care if you're doing it by yourself, you need an LLC to limit your liability. Go on LegalZoom, create one super easy, end of story, non-negotiable. The other thing that is a non-negotiable is general liability insurance. This is to protect you just generally for anything you do. If your volume is low, which it will be on your first year or just starting out, it can be next to nothing, but it can save your life. Another thing that will greatly help you is make a business bank account. Go to a bigger bank like Wells Fargo, Bank of America, somewhere that's really online banking friendly, that has online payment systems like Zelle and things of that nature. It's gonna keep you clean for accounting, but it's also gonna keep you safe and again, limit that liability because it's gonna be your LLC that owns the bank account, not you personally. Now, a big part that I think is so overlooked, there's some people that do some incredible work out there, but their branding is an afterthought. The first thing you see is someone's branding. So you need to put just the same amount of emphasis as the quality of your work as on your branding. The next thing that is so important is a website. Start a website, use WordPress. WordPress is the most SEO friendly, which is search engine optimization. You're trying to rank your page higher on Google. WordPress is the biggest and easiest to use. I've done it with different sites that look beautiful, and ultimately I've always come back to WordPress, so just save yourself the trouble. Now this website, it doesn't have to be super robust at the beginning. What it needs is clean and clear branding. Your logo, a landing page, a nice picture for people to see. It just gives so much legitimacy when you can give a company name, send people to your website, and they feel like you're a real company, not some fly-by-night contractor. So everything you're building now, you want to be able to grow with you to be a well-oiled marketing machine. We got some housekeeping out of the way. On paper, you look the part. You have the LLC, you have the website, you have your insurance, you are geared up and ready to go. But we need some damn jobs. This can be a little tricky because it's kind of like a chicken before the egg. You kind of need a portfolio to garner the type of work you want to get. So really, what you have to do here is your friend and family pool is a really good place to start. But hold on, if you have the means and you have a rental house or you have your own home, that is the very best place to start, because you want to make your mistakes for yourself and not other paying clients, especially not family. Now, if you're someone with zero connections, you've just moved to a new city for a fresh start, you want to get into building. Even if you have the network, what is a great tool is lead gen services like Home Advisor, Angie's List, and House. Now, let me be honest, I ultimately think long-term services like this can be the devil. They can be pricey, the leads are really not that great, but honestly, it is an amazing tool to use to get started. Ultimately, you want your website and your own marketing to be driving your business, not paying a lead gen service to bring it to you. Okay, now you've got some leads, right? Whether that might be family, a friend, or a lead with a stranger through one of these lead gen platforms. The thing that you want to focus on is appointments. Get as many appointments as you possibly can. You need the sales experience. There's going to be a lot of stuff that people say that you don't even know. Just take notes, say, oh yes, we'll look into that. You know, obviously fake it till you make it. Do not ever commit to something that you don't know about. Where that leads me is the best way to be successful in appointments is to be so absurdly blunt that you're gonna feel uncomfortable doing it at first. But I promise you, the more you do it, the more it's gonna become habit, and it's really such a breath of fresh air. In an industry like construction or real estate, there is a lot of snake oil salesmen out there, right? So the last thing you wanna be is a yes man. What people are looking for is the clear truth and great advice to lead them into making decisions on their project. Are you gonna be a guy they can count on? Or are you just gonna yes them to death and then it be a disaster on the project when they get into something they didn't bargain for? So the first appointment is kind of just a meet and greet. They're evaluating you, but more importantly, frame it like this: you are evaluating them. If these people are batshit crazy, I don't care what the dollar amount is, run. You do not want that job. And again, I know this is a double-edged sword because you want the work, but I promise you, you want to find the right client, especially for your first one. The next thing you do is you hard bid every single aspect of that job. Absolutely, under no circumstances are you to guess at the cost of any single item. I don't care if it's installing a door handle. If you get a hard bid from a reputable contractor or a multi-trade guy such as a handyman, everything you bid out is at least going to be held accountable by that person and not by a guess, because that's where you can get in trouble. What I like to do is set up a day with that client for all of my tradesmen to come out. And you know, depending on what it is, if it's a powder room, you're gonna have flooring, you're gonna have plumbing for the toilet and the sink, you're gonna have paint, you might have texture, things of that nature, right? Then just scale that up for as big of a project as you wanna go. Bring all your people out there. The clients like it because it shows that you have a good labor force and people are eager. Have the client talk about their scope. Do not let cross chatter happen between your people and the clients. Be funny, you can play something off as a joke, but explicitly tell all those guys, do not talk about pricing in this meeting. And anything that the client's asking, you know, I don't want to lie to you. I want to put some numbers together and really see what this costs. Do not give pricing in person. This is a very important step. Some projects might be too detailed to just back of the napkin discuss them. If a client has some pretty big, lofty goals, like we want to knock out all these walls and do our kitchen and reframe this and floor plan, you need to pump the brakes. That is where you need an architect and or an interior designer. For smaller projects, you can use an interior designer that can do some space planning. But what you need is them to do elevations of the cabinets, dimensions on where things go. All of these things eliminate assumptions. If you have assumptions on a job, I promise you they will bite you in the ass. Do some one-dimensional things like a bathroom is a great place to start. Keep everything in its location Once you get good at that, you can talk about moving a toilet or a sink, but really, you could even just graph that out on graph paper, right? But if you're doing a whole kitchen, the layout's crazy, you are gonna get in a disaster. Now you are about to start your very first job. I don't care how small, how big. One thing you need to keep in mind is you are not above any work when you're first starting out. I think my very first job for a client was like a $5,000 shower. And for frame of reference, our showers probably start at $30,000 to $40,000 now. I would always see these people on Instagram and on HGTV and I'd be like, oh man, like I wanna get to where they are. Maybe they just have something I don't. That is a lie, and that will keep you from following your dreams. You and I, we're exactly the same. We're people on this floating rock in space, and the thing is, if you can follow these steps like I did, you can be a builder. I promise you. The last thing that I really just want to leave with y'all is patience. Things take time, and honestly, you have to enjoy the journey. It gives you a reason to wake up every day. You're problem solving. You're fighting to get estimates. It's exciting. I know it's also stressful, but you have to be patient. If you think about it, if you wanted to be a professional athlete, you wouldn't think that within a month you could just go and try out for a team and make it, right? This is the same thing. You have to practice, you have to learn, you have to slowly get better, and then you reach a point where your momentum just starts snowballing and you can finally see the 5 years of hard work you did really starting to pay off in the 6th and 7th year. So just calm down, know you're on the right road, know you can be there if you put your mind to it. The biggest advice that I've ever gotten is fail forward. You are gonna screw up monumentally so many different things. What the mantra I tell myself is there is always a path forward. You might be stumbling through it. You might be crawling through it. But what matters is how you end up. If you are leaving your client with exactly what they bargained for and a great product, the road there could be treacherous and windy, but that is okay. And let me tell you this, that is expected. That will happen. Do not let that break you. Keep pushing. Thank y'all so much for following along. If you guys have any questions or need some more detail, I know we went over a ton today, comment below. I'd love to interact with y'all. Love everyone. Take care.